it's recording.
It's recording?
Speak into the mic and then.
Okay, good. All right, good evening, everyone. This meeting is being held with the benefit of public notice as required by the Open Public Meetings Act. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Mr. Carabelli?
Here.
Mr. Whalen?
Here.
Mr. Ty?
Here.
Please note that Ms. Phillips and Mr. Reparo are absent today.
And would everyone please rise for the flag salute and the invocation? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we please remain standing? Dear God, we pray for peace in our world, in our nation, and in our hearts. Help us to act with civility, to speak with kindness, and to live out the call to love our neighbors as ourselves. Grant us wisdom in our discussions this evening. Help us lead with integrity, compassion, and fairness, always keeping the well-being of those we represent at the center of all we do. We ask all these things in your holy name. Amen.
Amen. We have some amendments to the agenda since it was posted to the website. There's a change in the title of the following resolution. I believe there's just one word that was changed. CA6, item 25-319, is now titled a resolution providing for the insertion of a special item of revenue in the calendar year 2025 municipal budget from State of New Jersey, Department of Community Affairs, Hamilton Township Fire Division, Fire Apparatus Acquisition, $1 million. And being removed is CA 25-342, resolution establishing a contract for the purchase of one 2025 Ventrac 45 RC tractor with accessories through Creston Hydraulics Incorporated for the Department of Public Works, utilizing the Sourcewell National Pricing System contract, hashtag 112624-TTC, not to exceed $91,465.40. And being tabled on first reading is ordinance 125-014. An ordinance of the Township of Hamilton in the County of Mercer, New Jersey, providing for the acquisition of computers and/or laptops for the Department of Information and Technology end-of-life cycle project, and the acquisition of 2 police SUVs for the Department of Public Safety, fully funded by Capital Improvement Fund for the total amount of $250,000. Can I please have a motion to the amendment of the agenda?
Yes, Council President, I'll make a motion for the amendment to the agenda.
I'll second that.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Carabelli?
Yes.
Mr. Whalen?
Yes.
Mr. Ty?
Yes.
Passes 3-0. Next, we are on to minutes. We have minutes from May 20th of 2025 for your consideration.
Any questions or comments from members of council regarding the minutes for May 20th?
No.
Any members of the public with questions or comments regarding those minutes? Seeing no members of the public wishing to ask questions or make comments, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion on M1.
I'll second.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Carabelli?
Yes.
Mr. Whalen?
Yes.
Mr. Ty?
Yes.
Passes 3-0. Communications, we have a joint proclamation honoring the 35th anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act, Thriving with the ADA, A Future Without Limits.
Do I have a motion?
I make a motion on C1 under communications.
I'll second that.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Carabelli?
Yes.
Mr. Whalen?
Yes.
Mr. Ty?
Yes.
Passes 3-0. Resolution number 1, we have a resolution 25-313, resolution endorsing the Township of Hamilton's 4th round housing element and fair share plan.
So this is our affordable housing requirement. We have a 10-year time period to adhere to this. We were given a number of affordable houses, affordable units that we would be required to have built over the next 10 years. We proposed a lower number. At that point, we were sued and have come to an agreement on a final number, which I believe is still lower than the original number that was originally requested. Any members wishing to comment? Do you have a statement on this, Joy? Nothing? Any questions from members of the public? Yes, ma'am. You'll come on up here. And if you would give us your name and address. So they're going to be so there. How many total units in this?
520. There's
520 units. So they're going to be in various developments throughout the township, and a couple of current developments. In fact, we have on the agenda tonight include Our Lady of Sorrows. If you're familiar with the convent there.
Yes, it backs up to my yard. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, so that is that's an agenda item as well. So we're going to be touching on that in a little more detail. But we're going to get 50 units of affordable senior housing at that location. And then there will be affordable senior units built over at St. Raphael's. We're going to get a bunch of units from our transit-oriented development. And I think that is a pretty big chunk with those three developments of our requirement.
So with this resolution, are you asking for approval of this?
With this resolution.
Yeah, we're approving, a yes vote will endorse our fair share housing plan for our required units.
Okay.
It's not for specific locations, it's for the overall number that we have to build over the next 10 years.
Okay. And will the public have the opportunity to vote on the specific ones that may potentially impact those, that community?
That's our responsibility, to vote on those types of matters. It's not something that goes to a referendum.
Well, will the public have the opportunity to comment on the plans for those prior to the approval of those plans by this committee?
Well, you're here tonight.
Excuse me, not to interrupt you, Council President, but it'll go back to the planning board, okay? And then the developer will present the plans to the planning board, and that will be a time for residents to come to the planning board meeting and ask any questions they may have for the developer once he presents his plans to the township plan.
Yeah, we don't have specific, schematics yet. We're in a very preliminary phase of this. You're here, you're welcome to make your feelings on that known to us tonight. It is an agenda item. It's a part of the consent agenda. So we're going to be getting to that next. So you're welcome to share with us. I can tell you our Director of Economic Development is here. They have surveyed many of the residents in properties adjacent to OLS. And
Yes, they've
I see
surveyed my
Shake
property,
head shaking.
yes.
I'm sorry?
They've surveyed my property.
Not surveyed like land surveys. I mean, talked to.
No, they actually went in my yard and took measurements and did things.
Why is that?
I called the church and they said, they were doing some redevelopment and could these people take a look at my yard? I said, okay, just that I'm not, approving that, but I said, okay, you can look at it.
Yeah, no projects, I'm sorry, Council President, but no project, any of these projects that we're talking about, this specifically if you're talking in reference to the OLS project,
Yes.
is going to infringe on your property line. That's, and I know for 100% certainty that that's not going to happen.
Well, that's
Not infringe on my property, but, the location of the lighting, where the people are going to park, the noise, the landscaping, so that, you know, it kind of hides that, because I am like
Well-
directly there.
Well, I would say this, as it pertains to the actual project in and of itself, that plan, when it goes before the planning board, you will be notified. So you can come to that meeting and voice your, you know, whether you have a concern or you just want to see conceptually what that looks like. There will be opportunities for you to attend that meeting, which will appear before the planning board.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
anyone
will,
living within 200 feet
yeah.
of OLS is going to receive a special notification for the planning board meeting.
And will we have an opportunity in advance of that vote for approval to take a look at the detailed site plans and so forth? Because I do have some concerns. My son is a landscape architect, and he had some ideas for the neighbors, you know, that might be helpful.
Yeah.
You are going to have the opportunity to
Okay.
see the plans. You
Okay.
can, they're going to discuss them in detail at a planning board meeting. Additionally, residents can go to the office and see the plans. Do they make that available?
And I'm sorry. Do you mind if I just have Director Duma address maybe
Well,
some?
why don't we hold off until we're actually talking about OLS? We don't want to get.
Okay, yeah.
We're
Okay.
we're not
That's fine.
actually
We can-
It's
talking
kind
about
of,
OLS
Yeah.
yet.
it's true, it's kind of, this strictly, this resolution that we're considering right now, it does touch on OLS, it does.
Right, that's why I
But-
have some concerns.
And I appreciate you coming up right now, but we will
This touches
get back
on
into it, and I'll let Director Dumont, you'll let Director Dumont, I'm sorry.
Okay, that's fair. Thank
So,
you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Jeff Seabridge, 9 Hempstead Road. It's in reference to the same thing that we're dealing with, except St. Raphael's is behind my house, and several of the people that I'm with here today, their homes are also directly involved with this construction. I've been there approximately 34 years. We have a terrible water problem with the construction site that this building is going to go on, with water runoff. It's affected our backyards, our basements, we have pumps, things move, fences. When this building goes in, and this 100-plus parking lot goes in, this water has to be displaced. And we're extremely concerned that it's going to come and take out our houses. And we don't see anything, and we've listened to the last meeting with Fred Dumont spoke, and some of us have actually spoken with him. There's no contingency that we see in any plans for water to be rerouted away from our homes. Although it does look like there's a nice little pond out front, that doesn't do anything for us. And this is going to be a big concern besides many other things, parking lot lights in my backyard all night. But the water right now is all I'm going to talk about. There's other people here. We'd like to know, and we saw people out there, and I will have to say that I'm very disappointed at community, as in our leaders and the church. This has been in the works for a couple years now. Nobody's ever come up to us. Nobody ever told us there's a 70-unit complex going on in our backyard with a 100-plus parking lot. And it tends to lead someone to believe that you didn't want us to know. And the 200 feet for the variances, I'm at 9, and it runs to 4 houses together, and we were left off that list. I don't know why that was, but again, it just seems to believe like the 4. Nobody wanted us to
Can you
know.
explain that point one more time? I'm sorry, I didn't follow you on that one last point.
There's a list for 200 feet.
Oh,
That's
200
for the-
feet.
For the variance.
Okay.
The letters will go out. My house, along with the 3 other ones that are most directly impacted by this build, are left off the list.
Your property's on Hempstead and backs up to the
Yes.
St. Raphael's
It
property.
sits within the 200 feet.
Hold on.
Oh, yes.
Hold on. So your property backs up to St. Raphael's and you did not receive a letter?
No, when they come out, we are not on the mailing list. That was corrected, now we are. But the 4 main houses aren't on the list. Geez, coincidences, I don't know. So we are going to fight for some type of water be taken care of back there, whether it's a ravine or something. But it's got to be in place or we're in trouble. And it may cost us our homes. And once this construction starts, if we decide that we can't handle this water coming in, we can't sell our homes. Nobody's going to buy anything there when its construction begins. And we're probably looking late into 27, maybe even into 28. And there's going to be a lot of stuff with that. And we don't want this. This is a bad place to build it. It's just a bad place. I just can't believe that with the water situation there, that they're actually even thinking about it. So that's all I have. If there's other people to speak, I'll let it take turn.
Who else would like to? Well, let's. How about I run the meeting? I'm aware of that, and there's kind of a loophole here because it is pertaining to. So, and again, right now we're not talking about St. Raphael's. Right now we're not talking about OLS, but I'm giving you leeway because we are talking about the 10-year housing plan at this time. Feel free to make your comments. I'm going to give you leeway, but normally we ask people to stick specifically to the matter at hand, which is just at this point, our state-mandated fair share housing plan.
Cindy Astor, 5 and 7 Hempstead Road. I own both properties. And yes, this does affect us even though it's 10 years down the road. Okay?
Not that it's 10 years down the road.
Well, whatever
It's our-
you guys
It's our
are-
all-encompassing 10-year plan.
Okay, so where can we look at the survey information? You did a ground study for the dirt. We have high water tables. As soon as you start digging 5 and 6 feet, you're going to hit water. Okay? We've all done this, $10,000s of dollars in our yards to move this out. We also have deer, we have environmental, we have bats, we have everything in the field. Where are they going besides the rats and everything moving into our houses? Now, I understand that this is a $8 million property and that, you know, you're building on a certain section, but who's to say this builder's not going to build down the line on Hempstead? All right, it's a bad area. You people don't understand. I don't even know what surveys you had, but why can't we find out what you're doing? You ran gas lines last year already, and to my knowledge, it was for the convent and the rectory, which nobody's in there. There's no more nuns. There's no more priests. Those buildings are falling apart. Why can't they be repurposed? Okay? You got, maybe the convent is used for certain individuals. We're not notified about that. And then we talk about the parking lot. And then we talk about the lighting. It's on and on and on. And yet nobody has given any answers or courtesy. And I've been a resident for 62 years there. Thanks.
Director Dumont, did you hear anything there that you can address at this time? This is Fred Dumont, everyone, our Director of Economic Development.
Thank you, Council President.
Now, Fred, can you talk a little bit about the transparency involved in
Sure.
development projects and the process? Because we're actually very early in the process. Should be talking about the specifics of this particular project, but can you talk in general about how they can access?
Absolutely.
and
So I met with Ms. Astor and the gentleman here a month ago, 3 weeks, a month ago. And they came in to see me, so we talked about the project. This whole idea was presented to me in February by a member of the Finance Committee at St. Raphael's.
That began the township's involvement in this in February.
And
Thank you.
so we did I went out there and we walked around, we looked at the property, met with the finance, met with the priest, met with the diocese, and then we reached out to some developers and interviewed them, wondered who was the best, and we gave that a couple recommendations to the parish, and then they have met with the developer. There is no survey, there's no plan. There's the concept plan that I showed those two when we met like 3 weeks ago.
Like conceptual drawings.
It's a conceptual drawing where a location of the building. Since then, the whole project has been downsized, It's still 68 units. The convent is included in the building, and that's going to be repurposed. Saving the Adoration Chapel and the Rosary Garden, but using the rest of the building for community center for the development and for the parishioners of the parish. We will install, as per all DEP regulations and Hamilton Township, we will make sure the developer installs all safeguards against any water issues. It was brought to my attention by Miss Esther that there was water problems there. We're behind Miss Esther's house by more than 100 feet, but the project's not behind any other house on Hempstead. The original proposal to us was 120 units along Hempstead. We shot that down, and it's the project in works. As far as notification, we have urged the church to inform their parishioners and the neighbors. We actually set a date, and then the church agreed to it, of Thursday night, and I'm hoping all my ears got that. The project, the manager, they will be there to release more details than I'm now, including the sale price and all things like that. But nobody can say there's anything being done because it would have to go through my office and nothing's been done. Only conceptual. There is a planning board hearing, because they downsized the project, that kicked it to zoning board because it's under FAR. So they have to meet that. I'm going to guess, I think it's August 22nd, but all neighbors will be notified of that. There is a pre-application meeting Friday, where we will find out more about the project, but we will assure, like we do any project, that all DEP and township ordinances for stormwater will be met, stringent. This has to go through the zoning board, has to get approval of the zoning board, and then the reason for the accelerated schedule is there's a deadline to get state financing of September 2nd. And that's everything I've relayed to anybody who's called.
And our engineering department will have a role in ensuring that any water runoff is going to be handled in a manner that will least impact our residents.
That is correct. So we're sending it out to a consultant for review, and then those results come into our office for review by both our principal planner and our township engineer.
And I just want to say, I understand the concerns of folks living along Hempstead.
Absolutely.
Without having much information to go on yet, right? I understand that there's a slope there, and your houses are at the foot of the slope, so you might already have some drainage issues. And so I appreciate your transparency, the fact that you set up the town hall Thursday to discuss in as much detail as currently available the plans for the project. And I might sneak in and sit in the back of the room and listen as well, because I want to have as much information about this.
So my message is clear. It's the same whenever we talk about this. Everybody gets scared of affordable housing. What am I getting next door to my house? Well, this is 68 senior affordable housing units. Hopefully, they're connected to parishioners. So a widower gets a chance to sell their house, move into an affordable housing unit, $1,350 to $1,400 a month. They get to take their house and sell it to somebody else. Now, a young couple coming in, we're starting a new family. So it's redevelopment over and over again. I guarantee, personally and professionally, that we will remedy their water situation, because now it gives us a chance to improve the property. We could not before, and I've never heard of water situations on Hempstead, never. But now we get a chance to analyze it and put rain gardens. The gentleman mentioned the pond. They're planting a basin out up front. Rain gardens are my preference. Those of you who sit on the planning board heard that. They're attractive. You know, it's no danger to a child wandering in there. There's a lot of good reasons for it. You know, and I know not these people, but this has become a little bit of a political animal, and that's wrong, because the church. If you heard my testimony from the council, I said the church is hurting. It's hurting very bad. This is an influx of a large amount of money, which will keep that church and school open for a number of years here. And I think that's a great thing. So I just would ask everybody, look at the facts. Don't listen to the rumors out there. I've seen them. I've seen the emails. I've seen the text messages. They're not true. All right? It's the first time that that property will ever pay taxes. First time. So it's a benefit to everybody in the area, an improvement. You know, I've walked that property a long time. I've been out there in that parking lot. It's run down. This developer have an obligation to improve the entire canvas, and he's only purchasing 4.3 acres. Originally it was 7. Before that it was 12. Now it's down to 4.3 acres. This is not a massive, unruly development. 2 stories high. All right? That's the conceptual. And I'll open my office at any time, before, during, or after hours, so everybody can see what we see. But I'm communicating to you now what we've seen, what we anticipate to see, and what's going to happen in the future.
Fred, you know, you and I have worked together for several years now. You've worked closely with council whenever we've needed information. I appreciate that. And I know that you'll continue, excuse me.
Rick, I'm touched too. I want to come up and hug you too, Bob.
Yeah, that was good. It wasn't that good. It was good. I appreciate your responsiveness. You'll stay nearby.
I'll be available if any of the residents want to ask any questions about it.
Thank you.
All right? Thank you for the opportunity.
Who else would like to get up and talk about the 10-year fair share housing plan or related items? Everybody's good? Okay. Seeing no other members of the public wishing to comment, I'll entertain a motion on resolution 25-313.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Carabelli?
Yes.
Mr. Whalen?
Yes.
Mr. Ty?
Yes.
Passes 3-0. Next, we move on to consent agenda, items CA1 through CA28.
Okay. So on this, we have another redevelopment item. The AMC property, that's, let's see, that is CA26. For those who are following along, there is a proposal to bring a medical facility. This is going to be a very exciting development for the township. It's going to bring good jobs and good services to our residents. So that is one item. On the agenda, any other items that bear comment?
No, that was the big one, Council President. I'll just mention there's, an item that we established an agreement with between Hamilton and Robbinsville for the Ecological Center. That's an ongoing 9-year agreement with 1-year options to renew. Has an 2% increase in that. Appreciate the partnership with Robbinsville and the Ecological Center. And then, we have some actually decreases on some projects, which is pretty good. Some of our paving projects and then some refunds. That's all. I wanted to mention that. The big one was 339 now, which you mentioned.
So the OLS project, it is going to be 50 senior affordable units. Any questions or comments on any of the consent agenda items? Come on up now.
Janet Mazer, 4 Holly Mill Drive, Mercerville. Just some things that this group had brought up that I would like to record as some of my concerns as well. Currently, I do not have a water problem, and there is a small slope from the convent into, by my yard, and my expectation is that there will be no water problems, once this, and if it is approved. Also, my concern is the parking, the lighting, location of trash, trees and landscaping, as I had mentioned before, and we would like the opportunity to see those detailed surveys and plans, including the detailed surveys with measurements for the water runoff. And then lastly, I know this has occurred in other communities within New Jersey. Will there be a tax reduction for property taxes for individuals where these buildings impact those residents directly?
No. We are going to be realizing some revenue, not exactly tax revenue, it's pilot revenue, but we are going to be realizing the equivalent to some new tax revenue on what was previously non-taxable property there.
So across the state of New Jersey, there is no consistent rule for property tax reductions for neighborhoods that are directly impacted by
Well,
something like this.
I'm not sure what you're referring to statewide. No, because you live next to OLS, you're not going to get a tax break. They're going to take the convent and they're going to build 50 units of senior housing in the convent. They're going to add on to the back. It's going to be L-shaped. And they're going to keep the soccer field, so there's still going to be a lot of open space.
I downloaded those pictures, I've
Good.
seen them, yes.
Yeah. So there are only a few houses that are actually going to be anywhere near the building or the parking lot, and the rest are going to have the soccer field buffering between them and the property. So
Okay, because my sister, when she moved in her house 30 years ago, and I've been in mine 31, she lives in Skillman, and she does have it, she's had for 30 years, a tax reduction.
what does she live next to in Skillman?
There is a,
The boys'
they just
school?
built affordable housing near there, and township buildings.
They just built 30 years ago. She got a tax break?
No, they're,
That's the former reform school out there, the
No,
Skillman
no,
School for
no.
Boys?
she's on
She
Red
lives
Fox
next to
Court. So, Red Fox Court, that neighborhood right there, that butts up to
Yeah.
those buildings.
Again, I'm not familiar with the law that you're speaking of, and that's not anything that we're going to be doing.
Council President, I'll just say, if you can reference if you can find for me that
Yeah,
particular.
sure, I'll look it up.
I'd like to just know
Yeah.
what that is.
And, you know, I would respectfully request if the township could make that consideration.
Okay.
I think residents would be pleased with that if
Okay.
the township could make that a consideration.
I'd just like to know more.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Janice?
Janice Connick, 432 Trinity Avenue, Cornell Heights. Okay, I'm glad to see AMC's doing something. That's good. That's going to be one huge medical facility, because that's a big building. Is it somebody like...
They're tearing down that building.
Pardon?
They're going to tear down the existing building.
Oh, okay.
In all probability, it's actually early, there aren't finalized plans yet, but the expectation is they'll just tear down
Oh, okay.
the,
Okay. And we don't know who's, it wouldn't be like, we don't know if it's Capital Health or anybody like that. We don't know.
we're not gonna say until
Top
things are
secret.
finalized.
Okay.
So actually, we're days away probably from a public announcement about that.
Okay, well, that's good, because that's been empty for so long. With
Yeah.
vandalized and all that.
It's gonna be a nice development for Hamilton.
And very,
You know, it's been the focus of this council and this mayor to focus on redevelopment of properties like the AMC, of some of the, older industrial properties throughout the township, the vacant shopping center that we're rebuilding, a new municipal building at.
yes.
So, redevelopment has been our focus, and this is going to be a nice redevelopment project.
Very good, all right. And since that's near me, okay. And then the other one, CA 11 to 19, how many liquor licenses are we going all to the same person? Are we going to be doing a lot of drinking or what? They're all old from 2017. From 2017.
Year by year.
But why are they being renewed from so far back?
There actually is an explanation for that. There was
Or
a,
usually you just renew from last year, but this is from 2017, there's like 9 of them.
well, there was a holdup. Can you recall the specifics of why there was a holdup on that? Alyssa? You got it, Anthony? Anthony's got it.
Oh, Brittany told me, so.
Doesn't matter.
So go ahead, Brittany.
Okay.
So yes, there was some financial issues with the applicant, and he had to settle some stuff with the state, and it did take a couple years, and now he's allowed by the state to currently have his license. So we must pass an individual license per year to be able to give him his current license. So we have to basically backtrack a little bit.
Oh, so this is all for one license?
It was for an inactive pocket license, so it wasn't like an establishment was still open. It was a pocket license, so it was just for this gentleman to still hold it in his pocket and bring it up to date.
Are we getting a fee for each year
Yes.
retroactively?
Yes.
So there's some fee income for us
That's good. I
that
just
went
thought
on
maybe we're turning.
unpaid over those several years that had matters to take care of with the state.
I was going to say, I can't imagine one person having that many licenses. We'd be some drinking township. Okay, all righty, thank you.
We have a few bars. All right. Any other members of the public wishing to ask questions or make comments on the consent agenda items? Seeing no members of the public wishing to comment, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion, Council President, on our consent agenda items CA 1 through CA 28.
I'll second it.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Carabelli?
Yes.
Mr. Whalen?
Yes.
Mr. Ty?
Yes.
Passes 3-0.
So we're going to move on to ordinances in second reading, and we have tabled ordinance 1, so we'll be skipping ahead to ordinance 2.
Okay, so for the record, ordinance number 1, 25012 has been tabled into the next meeting. So ordinance number 2 on second reading is 25-013. Okay, we're going to vote on that to table it, so.
Okay. Can I have a motion to table ordinance 1?
Make the motion to table ordinance number 125-012.
I'll second that.
Madam
Okay, Mr. Carabelli?
Yes.
Mr. Whalen?
Yes.
Mr. Ty?
Clerk? Yes.
Passes 3-0. Ordinance number 2 on second reading is 25013. Ordinance adopting the Our Lady of Sorrows Study Area Non-Commendation Redevelopment Plan for a portion of an area in need of redevelopment pursuant to NJSA 40A 7:12A-1, Block 1666, Lot 80.
Any questions or comments from members of the council?
Nope.
Members of the public, any additional members? We're on OLS now. We're on the, would you like to come up? Come on up.
Apologies, just one last comment. I have.
Can you just state your name again?
Oh,
Sorry.
Janet Mazer, 4 Holly Knoll Drive, Mercerville. Right after the first meeting that this was brought up, I had asked to see the slides that were presented. I physically went into the township office, was told they weren't available. I kept following up frequently, finally got access to those photos, and I was told that there wasn't any redevelopment plan to share, and someone in this meeting just shared it with me, and that was dated in June. So I'm disappointed that when I had called several times and showed up physically, I wasn't given the opportunity to see that plan.
I share your disappointment. If there was something available, it should have been made available to you. So I don't have an explanation for that. We would have to look into it to see. Fred, do you have something?
If you could share that with me, I'd love to see it, because we just finished the redevelopment plan, and that's what you're voting on tonight.
Okay.
So please share with me what you have. Sure. Because this is what we're presenting to you tonight. the draft. Yeah, this is the
Yeah,
draft.
well, I wasn't even given this.
Who gave you this?
What else?
Guys, please don't play politics with this stuff. It's important stuff, getting senior affordable housing, and that's the draft. Final version's being submitted here.
Okay, and then
All
I'll
right.
be.
Absolutely. Stop by my office tomorrow and I'll have the desk at the front door.
Okay.
So the explanation is, when we're still developing plans, we don't share it until we have a final draft. That's the explanation. So,
Okay.
yeah. Any other members of the public with questions or comments on ordinance 25-013? Seeing no members of the public with questions or comments?
Council President, I'd like to close the public comment portion and move on second reading, 25-013.
I'll second it.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Carabelli?
Yes.
Mr. Whalen?
Yes.
Mr. Ty?
Yes.
Passes 3-0. Next, we are on first reading and introduction. it's ordinance number 2, 25-015, ordinance amending and supplementing the code of the Township of Hamilton, New Jersey, Chapter 485, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 2, Parking, 45-9, parking prohibited at all times on certain streets, Eaton Avenue.
May I have a motion?
Council President, I'll move on ordinance 125-014 on first reading and introduction.
I'll second that.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Carabelli?
Yes.
Mr. Whalen?
Yes.
Mr. Ty?
Yes.
Passes 3-0.
Sorry, Brittany. Do we need to do anything for ordinance 1 like we did for the second reading ordinance? Do we need to do a motion? It's just been pulled as opposed to the table, so we don't need a motion. Okay, thank you. Okay,
Okay, so
ordinance number 3?
ordinance number 3, 25-016, ordinance amending and supplementing the code of the Township of Hamilton, New Jersey, Chapter 485, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 2, Parking, 485-19, handicap parking. We are establishing spaces for 13 Adela Avenue, 8 Charlotte Avenue, 1536 Genesee Street, 149 Joan Terrace, 56 Lafayette Avenue, 57 Lafayette Avenue, 302 Lafayette Avenue, 438 Linwood Avenue, 473 Linwood Avenue, 184 Main Street, 27 Parkinson Avenue, 24 Perry Avenue, and 446 Schiller Avenue.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion on ordinance 3, 25-016.
I'll second it.
Mr. Carabelli?
Yes.
Mr. Whalen?
Yes.
Mr. Ty?
Yes.
Passes 3-0.
All right. Nobody signed the list. We're going to move on to public comment. Any members of the public who would like to make comments or questions on any topic whatsoever? We've got somebody coming up already.
Good evening. My name is Gerard A. Casal. I live at 15 Hardwood Drive, Hamilton Township, 08619. I've been a resident of Trenton, Chambersburg, and Hamilton all my life. And I have been very, very upset as I talked to my good friend, Mr. Carabelli, about rent increases. I've been to the governor's office a year and a half ago. Last year I was given a 10%. This year I was given a 12%. Something needs to be done for the citizens. I'm not saying I can't pay. I can pay. I have a mortgage of $450,000, but with the house situations being since COVID and everything, the homes in Hamilton and Robbinsville have gone up greatly. I've been to the mayor's office 3 weeks ago. I spoke to his secretary, and I'm not going to go away. I think the citizens and myself, my aunt's 89 years old. She just told me my rent went up 7%. Trenton has got a 5% across the board. And I want to tell you something. I think you guys, from the mayor to the council, are doing a great job. And I want to tell you something. My grandfather and Mr. Carabelli Sr. and Mr. Ty were good friends. And when my grandfather went to neither one of them, something was done. I want something done. I want it on the agenda next month. I want to stop my landlord, who's a slum landlord, right in his tracks. I was told from a lady, very nice, in the mayor's office, if you need assistance. I don't need assistance. My wife works for the sheriff's office in Mercer County. I work for the Delaware Joint Bridge Commission as a corporal. But I feel 12%. I only got a 4% raise this year. Come on. I mean, Hamilton is a beautiful township to live in. And like I said, you guys are doing a great job. From the mayor to the council. I've been a Democrat all my life. And I'm not asking. I need something done. I need something done. Not only for me, for the people that maybe can't afford it, that are on Social Security, like Mr. Whalen said. He knows somebody that went up 8%, 9%. Okay, let's not put a deaf ear to this, like the governor. I was in the governor's office 2 times with the past year and a half, and maybe he's got property. No, we got to have some kind of premier 5, 6, 12%. I'm very sorry, and like I said, I will be back next week. Anthony. Not August, September. Please, I need your help in this matter.
Thank you for your comments, Mr. Casale. Thank you. Janice?
Janice Clark, 432 Trinity Avenue, Cornell Heights. Did something happen at the Mercerville Post Office that it was locked on Sunday? It's always open, so you can go in and drop letters off, and the door was locked. And because I was having to started to go in, and this gentleman said to me, he said, it's locked. I said, no, it's never locked, it's always open. And sure enough, it was locked. He says, you have to go over to the mailbox, which you could hardly find. And of course, the pool thing was locked, and they just had a slit to put the envelopes in so people couldn't go and steal them. But I always like to take my mail into the post office because it's safer. But it was totally locked up, and it's always open on the weekends. So I was
The post
wondering-
office itself is closed, right?
Yeah, well, they always have.
I'm not familiar with,
Yeah, when you go in, where the men are who take care of you, that's all locked off, and where the cards and all are, and you can just walk in. You can go into the slots, or people who have boxes can go into their mailbox. But it was totally locked up, and I just thought that was very odd. I thought maybe something had happened that they.
I'm not aware. Is anybody aware of anything? I'm not aware of
I go in there
anything.
and listen.
Okay.
That way next meeting, I'll tell you what happened.
Because it's always open.
Yeah.
That's what I liked about it, And so I thought maybe they had some vandalism or something, and they decided to lock it up. I was just curious about you guys always know everything. Okay, thank you.
I usually go out to 1:30. Any other members of the public wishing to ask questions or make comments? Seeing none, we will move to council comments.
First, we're a small group tonight. I appreciate those members of the community that came out this evening. I'm very familiar with both properties and have looked over the OLS project a little bit more so than St. Rayfields because I still haven't taken a deeper dive into that project. But my sons play basketball at St. Rayfields. My second parish is OLS. I go there frequently, so I know very well both those properties. One of the things that I think that what will come out of this discussion, we have Thursday's public hearing, which I think is a positive thing. It brings to light, sheds some further light on these projects. I think that you heard tonight from Director Duma, I think which will happen from the mayor. There will be complete transparency during this process. I don't think anyone's trying to pull the wool over neighbors' eyes on this project. This is something that's something that we're going to be very transparent on and communicate well with the community that abuts these two developments. And I think Thursday's a good first step. The public hearing, or not public hearing, but just a public event that's going to be over at St. Rayfield. I appreciate Director Dumont speaking a little bit on the project. I know I can understand the concerns immediately when there's a development that's adjacent to your neighbor or your property. So I understand those concerns. I think those concerns, hopefully through this process, will be alleviated. There will be ample time during this process, during public hearings, planning board meetings, discussions on the project as they move from conceptual to actual concrete drawings and what they're going to look like, to voice some of your concerns. So once again, I appreciate you coming out this evening and bringing this to our attention. I know this is first and foremost on your agenda, and it's an important piece to what we do as council members here, trying to put together, working with our administration and putting together a fair share housing plan. It's an obligation that we have to provide a 10-year plan. I think this is going to be a very positive development for the community, a very good development for senior affordable housing. But obviously, we don't have those plans in front of us right now to speak what exactly these projects are going to look like. So once again, thank you for coming out this evening. There's a process in place, and look forward to seeing you all. So, thank you.
I guess I'll elaborate a little on more what Mr. Carabelli said, and I do appreciate the public coming out tonight and voicing your concerns. I understand. Probably if there were development behind my house, I'd probably have the same questions, right? So whether you have development at OLS or St. Rayfields or wherever you're developing within the town, whether it's redevelopment or new development, people always have questions, and we get it. But I feel confident not only in the administration, but in Fred's department, that he will hold them accountable, the developers. Whether it's during pre-construction or as construction starts, hey, at the end, hey, we're not going to have a water problem, right? You got a retention problem, but hey, we're having water problems now during the construction, right? Whatever the problem may be, you're getting water on your property or in your yard and you want it addressed. And I feel confident every time that if somebody called up with that situation and needs to be addressed, he's going to address it for you. And we'll address it. Last thing we want is people being inconvenienced during a construction project that they're not too happy with to start with, right? Just adds, it makes matters worse, right? All of a sudden you're building something, you didn't want it, we promised everything would go smooth, but yet here it is, construction's going on, and you got problems right away. We don't want that. We want everybody to be happy at the end to say, you know what, the township did a good job, the contractors did a good job, it's going to benefit St. Rayfields, it's going to benefit LLS, wherever, it's going to help people out. It's going to give seniors an opportunity. We're just talking, this gentleman, Mr. Sal, was talking about rent control, where they're going to have, it's going to be, it's not that it's low income, but it's going to be set up for seniors. People that have maybe lived in Hamilton Township their whole life, but they need to move, and they need to downsize, whatever that case may be, but they can still call Hamilton Township their home. So I think that's a good thing. I'll just finish up with, we've had some really tremendous hot days, especially, our seniors, be careful out there. If you're having any problems, don't be afraid to ask for help. But be careful more than anything, because we don't want anybody getting sick or with this heat. And we don't know how much longer it's going to last. And with that, I hope everyone has a great night.
Thank you. Just to echo Councilman Carabelli and Councilman Whalen, it has been a focus for me as an elected official, and I think for my colleagues as well. We've talked about redevelopment, redevelopment that makes sense for the community, a focus on but the focus needs to be on protecting quality of life for our residents. There was talk of affordability, and all these things come into play with the topics of discussion tonight. These senior housing developments are an effort to keep Hamilton affordable for folks who have raised their families here. We want them to be able to afford to continue to live in our community. That said, we never want for there to be a negative quality of life impact to the neighbors of any new development or any redevelopment. And, I am confident that our township professionals in Fred's office, our engineers, that they will be looking at the issue with the water displacement, always an issue with construction. And it's something that, our professionals will be keeping an eye on, we'll be keeping an eye on. We're here to address any concerns, but you're also going to have, as more details come out on this, you're going to have the opportunity to address the specifics of your concerns at either planning or zoning, as the case may be. There will be a forum where these things are going to be discussed in detail. As more details become available, they're going to be made available to the public through the Office of Economic Development. So I do want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. I want to thank everyone for your concerns, whether it's OLS or St. Raphael's or any other matter. And we're meeting once a month through the rest of the summer, so come back and see us in August. Probably here. I think we're gonna. Yeah, I think the elevator and the air conditioning are working at the moment in the municipal building, but I don't know. We want to roll the dice in August on those items continuing to work. There's a reason that we're building a new municipal building.
Why you held the meeting here tonight?
Yeah, the HVAC wasn't working in our second floor council chambers.
I was just wondering why it was held at the municipal building.
Normally, we're at the municipal building. We moved the meeting here just because of, the HVAC wasn't working at all. So I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight, and this meeting is adjourned.